Good morning, students. This is my lecture number 3 for chapter number 6 on the face of it, written by Susan Hill for class 12th, subject English, book Vistas. Children, as you know, I have already delivered 2 lectures of this chapter number 6, and today, in this lecture number 3, we shall cover from page number 64 to 66. Before starting from page number 64, we shall recapitulate lecture number 1 and lecture number 2 also, right? And then we will proceed further with lecture number 3, reading and explanation from the textbook. So let's begin the lecture number 3 with the recap of lecture number 1. In lecture number 1, I taught you about the protagonists of the play. They are Derry and Mr. Lamb. Derry is a teenage boy, defiant, pessimistic, and takes much care about his disability and feels very lonely. Whereas the second protagonist is Mr. Lamb, who is an old man. He has an optimistic approach towards life. He doesn't care much about his disability, though he is lonely, but he remains happy. Right? And I taught you the play begins with the teenage boy, that is Derry. When he enters a garden, his face is burnt on one side of it due to some accident that happened in his life when acid fell on his half face and the face got burnt. He has gone to the garden to hide himself as he is afraid of facing people. He fears being teased by others for having such a bad face, but when he enters, he finds someone already present there. He tries to leave the place, but he is stopped by the old man, Mr. Lamb, who is the owner of the garden. Derry feels guilty for entering the garden without permission. Mr. Lamb welcomes him and tells him not to leave just because of his presence. Derry wants to leave as he thinks people don't like his face and moreover they get afraid of his looks. But Mr. Lamb insists him to stay there. They enter into a conversation that how Derry is not liked by anyone and how he hates people behaving like this with him, and Mr. Lamb tries to console him. He tells him that he has a thin leg and kids make fun of him. Still he is not depressed and he believes in enjoying life. So children, now let's recapitulate lecture number 2. They means Derry and Mr. Lamb. They both talk about various things and this leads to revelation of Derry's fear, depression and hatred about his being in such condition. But Mr. Lamb keeps on telling him to think of the positive things. Derry had an opinion he would never look different even when he will be as old as Mr. Lamb, because then also he will have only half a face. Derry shares an incident that one day he was waiting at a bus stop. A woman passing by told another woman that he had such a terrible face that only his mother could love him and no one else could do that. Mr. Lamb questioned that would Derry have entered had he seen him, to which Derry replied in the negative. Mr. Lamb then narrated a story about the man who locked himself in the room as he was afraid of everything like bus, lightning, etc., and eventually died when a painting fell on his head. Mr. Lamb said that Derry had everything, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, etc., as he wanted to make Derry realize that he had so much which many other people were deprived of. Then Mr. Lamb asked the reason of Derry denying to visit the garden in future, and Derry replied that one crosses many people while walking down the street, might speak to a few of them and never see them again. This didn't mean that they had become friends. So, up to this we read in lecture number 2. Now we shall proceed with lecture number 3. Now we shall begin with reading and explanation from page number 64. And the dialogue conversation begins with the dialogue of Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb says, doesn't mean they are enemies either, does it? Derry. No, they are just nothing. People, that's all. Mr. Lamb. People are never just nothing. Never. Derry. There are some people I hate. Mr. Lamb. That would do you more harm than any bottle of acid. Acid only burns your face. Derry. Only? Mr. Lamb. Like a bomb only blew up my leg. There is worse thing that can happen. You can burn yourself away inside. Derry. After I had come home, a person said he would have been better off stopping in there, in the hospital. He would be better off with others like himself. She thinks blind people only ought to be with other blind people and idiot boys with idiot boys. Mr. Lamb. And people with no legs altogether. Derry. That's right. Mr. Lamb. What kind of world would that be? Derry. At least there would be nobody to stare at you because you were not like them. Mr. Lamb. So you think you are just the same as all other people with burnt faces? Just by what you look like? Ah, everything is different. Everything is the same, but everything is different itself. Derry. How do you make all that out? Mr. Lamb. Watching, listening, and thinking. In this, what do we conclude? Mr. Lamb commented that it did not mean that strangers were enemies, if not friends. Derry said that they were nothing, just people. Mr. Lamb said that it could not be that people were nothing to each other. Derry said that there were some people whom he hated. Then Mr. Lamb replied to it that hatred would harm him even more than the acid that had only affected his face. Derry commented that only his face. Mr. Lamb said that a bomb explosion blew up his leg, but there were worse things that could happen with him, and one could burn face up from the inside by the negative feelings. Derry said that when he had returned from the hospital, a person had said that it was better if he had remained there with people like him. He added that people think all disabled people should remain together at one place. Mr. Lamb added this meant that people without legs should also remain at one place together, and the world would become imbalanced that way. Derry said that at least no one would stare at others because all of them were similar. Mr. Lamb asked Derry what did this mean, that he was like all that people with burnt faces just because they had similar appearance? He added that everything was different, although things are the same, yet they are different. Derry was confused. Mr. Lamb said that our habits of watching, listening, and thinking differently made us different from each other. Now, dialogues from book. Derry says, I would like a place like this, a garden. I would like a house with no curtains. These lines show that he was impressed by Mr. Lamb. Then Mr. Lamb says, the gate's always open. Derry, but that isn't mine. Mr. Lamb, everything is yours if you want it. What's mine is anybody's. Derry, so I could come here again? Even if you were out, I could come here? Mr. Lamb, certainly. You might find others here, of course. Oh, Mr. Lamb, well, that need not stop you. You need not mind. Derry, it would stop them. They would mind me. When they saw me here, they look at my face and run. Then, what do we conclude? Derry said that he liked Mr. Lamb's house and garden. He replied that Derry was always welcome there, and Derry said that the place was not his. To which Mr. Lamb answered that everything was his if he wanted it to be. He added that all his possessions were of everyone. Derry asked if he could visit the place again. To which Mr. Lamb replied that he could and he would find company too. He added that Derry need not mind other people here. No one would stop him from entering the premises of the garden. Derry said that they would probably would not like to enter the place upon seeing him. Maybe they would look at his face and would get scared of him and they would run away from his garden. And in these lines, Mr. Lamb made him sure that whatever things belonged to him, all those could be possessed by Derry also. Now we are reading on page number 65, where the dialogue of Mr. Lamb. They might out. You would have to take the risk, so would they. Derry, no, you would. You might have me and lose all your other friends because nobody wants to stay near me if they can help it. Mr. Lamb, I have not moved. Derry, no. Mr. Lamb, when I go down the street, the kids shout Lemmy Lamb. But they still come into my garden, into my house. It's a game. They aren't afraid of me. Why should they be? Because I am not afraid of them. That's why not. Derry, did you get your leg blown off in the war? Mr. Lamb, certainly. Derry, how will you climb on a ladder and get the crab apples down then? Oh, there's a lot of things I have learned to do, and plenty of time for it. Years I take it steady. Derry, if you fell and broke your neck, you could lie on the grass and die. If you were on your own. Mr. Lamb, I could. So here you see, Mr. Lamb replied that they might or might not run away. They means the people. Okay, that he had to take chance on that. Derry said that Mr. Lamb had to choose out of him and the other people as visitors because no one liked to remain near him. Mr. Lamb would lose all his friends if Derry entered his garden. Mr. Lamb said he was there and he did not run away on seeing Derry there. He added, when he went out on the street, kids teased him although they visited his garden and his house. It was like a game because kids had given him a nickname for teasing that was Lemmy Lamb. They were not scared of him because he was not scared of those kids or people. Derry asked, did his leg get injured in some war? To which Mr. Lamb replied, yes, certainly, surely it did so. Then Derry asked how would he climb the ladder to pluck the apples? Okay, the crab apples that from where the scene 1 actually began. He replied that there were lot of things that he had to learn to do and it took years of his life. Derry added that if he climbed the tree alone, fell from it, broke his neck, he would lie on the grass dead. Mr. Lamb said, yes, it could actually happen. Okay, because he lived there alone. If there is nobody and if he falls down from the ladder while picking the crab apples, then he would die. There is no doubt. Now, Derry says, you said I could help you. I could help you means I could help you in climbing the ladder to pick the crab apples from the tree. Then Mr. Lamb said, if you want to. Derry said, but my mother will want to know where I am. It's 3 miles home, across the fields. I am 14, but they still want to know where I am. Mr. Lamb says, people worry. Derry says, people fuss, means people get angry. Mr. Lamb, go back and tell them. Derry, it's 3 miles. Mr. Lamb, it's a fine evening, you have got 2 legs. Derry, once I got home, they would never let me come back. Mr. Lamb, once you got home, you would never let yourself come back. Derry, you don't know. You don't know what what I could do. Mr. Lamb, no. Only you know that. Derry, if I choose. Mr. Lamb, if you choose, I don't know anything, boy. I can't tell you what to do. In these lines, Derry asked if he could help him in plucking the apples from the garden or the tree. Mr. Lamb said that he could help him if he wanted to. Derry said that his mother would be waiting for him. His home was 5 miles away across the fields. He was 14 years of his age, but still he was supposed to tell her where he was. Mr. Lamb added that people had the habit of worrying. Derry added that actually they were in habit of fussing, getting angry, confused. They show extra care towards him. Mr. Lamb asked Derry to go home and inform his mother of his whereabouts. His house was 3 miles away. As the weather was fine and he had legs, he could easily go home, tell them, and then he would return. Derry said that once he went home, he would not be allowed to come back to his garden. Mr. Lamb added that once home, Derry himself would not feel like coming back. Derry said to Mr. Lamb that he did not know what all he could do. Mr. Lamb said only Derry knew what he could do. So Derry started to say that if he chose, but was interrupted by Mr. Lamb. He said that Derry had to choose and he could not tell him what to do. He was actually motivating Derry to take the decisions of his life in these lines. He was motivating him, boosting him up that he must believe in himself. Rather, he must look or get worried for other people. He must think what he likes to do and what he can actually do to make himself happy. He must do what pleases him. He must not be channelized by others because he was growing up. So he must know how to take decisions of his life. Now we are on page number 66. Derry says they tell me. They means the people at his home. They tell me what to do, what not to do. Mr. Lamb, do you have to agree? Derry, I don't know what I want. I want something no one else has got or ever will have. Something just mine, like this garden. I don't know what it is. Mr. Lamb, you could find out. How? Waiting, watching, listening, sitting here or going there. I'll have to see to the bees. Derry, those other people who come here, do they talk to you? Ask you things? Mr. Lamb, some do, some don't. I ask them, I like to learn. Derry, I don't believe in them. I don't think anybody ever comes. You are here all by yourself and miserable, and no one would know if you were alive or dead, and nobody cares. Mr. Lamb, you think what you please. Derry, all right then, tell me some of their names. Mr. Lamb, what are names? Tom, Dick, or Harry? Then he gets up. I am off down to the bees. Derry, I think you are daft. Crazy. Derry, what for? You don't talk sense. Mr. Lamb, good excuse not to come back, and you have got a burnt up face, and that's other people's excuse. In these lines, Derry said that his family forced him to do things their way, and Mr. Lamb said that it was Derry's wish to agree with them or not. Derry was confused about what he wanted, something that was only his, and no one had it, like the garden of Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb said that he could find out what he wanted. Derry asked how he could do that. Then Mr. Lamb told him to wait, watch, listen, and he added that he had to see the bees. Derry asked, did other visitors talk to Mr. Lamb like him? To which Mr. Lamb replied that some usually talk, some do not, but he never bothers or he never believes someone ever visited the place. This was Derry's thought. Mr. Lamb lived alone all by himself there, Derry said so to him. No one cared for him, and Mr. Lamb said that Derry could think as he pleased. Means whatever things made him happy, he could think accordingly. Derry asked him the names of some of the visitors in order to cross-check. Mr. Lamb said names were nothing. They could be like Tom, Dick or Harry. He left to see the bees. Derry said that perhaps Mr. Lamb was mentally challenged. Mr. Lamb said that was a good excuse for Derry, but Derry said that Mr. Lamb did not talk sense and that's why he said so. Mr. Lamb repeated that if it was a good excuse for not returning to the garden. Derry's face was burnt, which was other people's excuse for not seeing Derry. And Derry said that Mr. Lamb was like other people now. Because in these lines, Mr. Lamb was actually asking Derry to revisit the garden. He was trying to make him self dependent. He was trying to make him realize his power of decision making. Now, children, Mr. Lamb goes to see the bees, and Derry says, "You are like the others. You like to say things like that. If you don't feel sorry for my face, you are frightened of it." Frightened means scared. If you are not frightened, you think I am ugly as a devil. I am a devil, don't you? He shouts. Mr. Lamb does not reply to his shouts. He has gone to his bees now. Derry, quietly. No, you don't. I like it here. He pauses. He gets up and shouts. I'm going. I'll come back. You see, you wait. I can run. I have not got a tin leg. I'll be back. Derry runs off. Silence. The sound of the garden again is audible in the garden because by the time there was the sound of Mr. Lamb and Derry, and now there was sound of again the garden. And then Mr. Lamb says to himself, "There, my dears, that have you seen too? Oh, you know, we all know. I'll come back. They never do, though. Not them. Never do come back. The garden noises fade." So, you see, if he was not sorry that his face was burnt, then maybe he was scared of it. If not that, then maybe he thought that Derry was as ugly as a devil. He added that he was a devil. Derry shouted. Mr. Lamb did not reply to his shouts. He had gone to see his bees. Derry became calm and said that Mr. Lamb did not think him to be a devil. He liked to be in his garden because he found Mr. Lamb different from other people. Derry got up and shouted that he was leaving the garden for that very moment and he would return to see him again. He did not have a tin leg, he could run fast, and he would be back soon. Derry ran off from his garden. The place was silent with the sounds of the creatures of the garden, and Mr. Lamb started talking to the bees that they saw all that happened. They all knew that no one ever returned to the garden. Here the scene 1 ends with these lines where Derry is motivated by Mr. Lamb to go home and inform his mother about his presence in the garden and would come back to see him. And then when Derry runs off to his home, then the garden becomes again alone and silent, and Mr. Lamb starts talking to those bees, and he tells those bees that Derry would also not come back like other people. Whosoever goes back never returns to his garden. He has to live alone with all the creatures of his garden. Here, children, the scene 1 ends, and scene 2 we will continue in our next lecture. Now we will proceed towards homework. So children, now it's your homework. You have to read this chapter on the face of it from page number 64 to 66 thoroughly and try to understand the perception of life, perception towards life of different people and how one can turn up from negative thoughts to positive thoughts. So scene 1 ended where Derry had gone back to his home to inform his mother that he had to go back to Mr. Lamb in his garden, right? And in scene 2 we shall read Derry's conversation with his mother. By the time Mr. Lamb is alone in his garden and he is again started talking to his creatures in the garden, he was looking at the bees, so he started talking to the bees and he told bees that you had seen what the conversation had taken place between him and Derry, and he told bees that Derry would also not come back like all the other people in his garden. By the time, thank you, have a nice day.